Alright, what's up guys? In this video, I'm going to talk about some new information about being an instrumentation and electrical technician. I'm going to talk about what they do, how you become one, and how I like the job. I made a similar video about 4 years ago discussing all these points. With this video, I'm going to bring you some new data, some more specific information, and then a little bit about, what the changes I've seen. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is what does an instrumentation and electrical technician do? So you got to understand that there's kind of different job duties at different companies and utilities, and there's just like different segments of instrumentation and electrical. Instrumentation means sensors, so think about installing sensors and calibrating. Electrical just means electrical controls and automation. So an instrumentation and electrical technician will usually work in a manufacturing plant, factory, or a utility. And what you do is you calibrate sensors, install sensors, and then just troubleshoot, diagnose, and repair automated systems. So if you're working in a factory setting, generally there will be some mechanics or industrial maintenance technicians. Then there will be some automation techs or instrumentation and electrical techs. The maintenance technicians are generally the first responders to repair a situation, and if they can't diagnose the issue or if there's automation issues, they'll call you in to fix it. So in the time that you're not doing PMO1s or emergency repairs, you're going to be working with engineers on projects, maybe building and testing, new systems, or maybe upgrading systems, making minor changes to automation logic, things like that. And then if you're just a solely instrumentation or calibration technician, you're going to be working in a lab setting, calibrating sensors day in and day out, or calibrating medical devices. So instrument techs or instrumentation technicians or calibration technicians that aren't expected to work on automated systems focus solely on sensors. That's slightly different than an instrumentation and electrical or instrumentation and controls technician. And for the sake of this video, I'm really talking about instrumentation and electrical or automation and electrical. I know it's a little bit confusing, but just understand there's the type where you're doing industrial maintenance, and then the type where you're just calibrating sensors. And from what I've seen, the type where you're just calibrating sensors is a little bit less common. The more common job is where you're diagnosing, troubleshooting, repairing industrial automated processes, and calibrating sensors. So, as promised at the beginning of the video, I got a little bit of new data for you guys. I'm a little bit I'm a little bit embarrassed. The first part of this video, I basically just made up some numbers off the top of my head about job outlook and growth. I know where I'm from, Florida. As far as I knew, there were only 2 schools that had an instrumentation degree. And in my school, we only had about maybe 20, 25 at the most people per class, per year in the program. So in Florida, theoretically speaking, you might only have 50 new instrumentation technicians coming out each year, which is a lot different than something like engineering or nursing, where there's tens or hundreds of thousands of people going into the field and tens or hundreds of thousands of jobs. In this field, it's more like there's just a few people coming out doing it, and there's just a few jobs out there. And I want to apologize for that. So I wanted to share some data I found online, and the problem that it's hard, the problem with getting job outlook data on an instrumentation and electrical technician is that a lot of companies use completely different titles to describe the same job. But I did a little bit of research, and I found some data from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics about an electrical and electronic technician and technologists, which for the purpose of this video, I think that's the closest thing to describe an instrumentation and electrical technician. And I think I found some pretty interesting data. So what I found is that there's about 100,000 of these careers in the US right now. And every year they expect to add about 10,000 more jobs. So we got 10,000 new jobs per year, 100,000 total in the US. Then I compared this to something like electrical engineering. Electrical engineering has 300,000 jobs and then 17,000 new per year in the US. But the thing that I think makes this job a little bit special is there's not that many people going into it. So there's really not a huge pool of candidates to compete with when you're going to interviews. Think about it. How many people do you know that are an electrical engineer, or have you heard of saying, I'm going to school for electrical engineering? How many people do you know that say, I'm an electrical technologist or an instrumentation technician, or I'm getting a 2-year engineering technology degree? There's really not that many. The program I was at in Florida, we had about, I want to say, it's been a little while, but we had like something like 15 people in my graduating class. And in our entire engineering technology program, which was a couple different specific degrees, like 3 or 4, there was a total of no more than like 40 or 50 people at any one time, like total. So it's pretty cool because there's not that many people going into it, but there's still 10,000 new jobs each year. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And there's a little bit of data that's a lot more concise than what I gave on my last video. So what are the job titles and how much money can you make? So if you want to just do a little quick search for your area, get on Indeed or LinkedIn and look up jobs. And what you can look for is electrical technician, instrumentation technician, automation technician, or something I like to do is just type in PLC into the search bar on any job board, and you'll find the jobs in your area that you will be able to fill once you get this degree. Now we can talk a little bit about money. So when I made my last video about 4 years ago, I think a typical technician salary was around like $28 an hour, 25 to 28, capping out in the mid 30s. Something I've noticed, the starting wages have gone up. The lower end of what I'm seeing now is about 32 an hour. And most jobs that I'm seeing are between 35 and 40 an hour, where before most of the jobs were around 30 an hour. Now I realize there has been inflation, but I know since I made my last video, my salary has increased by about 50%, which outpaces inflation significantly. How do you start your career as an instrumentation and electrical technician? So it's pretty simple. For most jobs, they're going to require a 2-year degree. I actually have a buddy who's an automation and electrical technician that just got a 9-month certificate and got the job, but I don't think that's typical. Typically, you're going to need a 2-year degree and a little bit of experience to get in the field. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to go out and look for 2-year degrees in automation, engineering technology, electronics, something like that. And this is very important. You're going to want to find degree programs that will help you find a job while you're in school. There's plenty of them out there. So when you're looking at degrees, get in touch with the program chairs and the full-time professors and see if they can help place you while you're in school. That's what I did. I got my first job actually pretty much right when I started my second semester. I was making $19 an hour part-time as an intern. I did that for 1 year. And then while I was still in school, I got a full-time instrumentation and electrical technician degree that was around $50,000 or $60,000. And having that little bit of experience made it a lot easier for me to land better jobs that, I really wanted. And just a little side note, I've noticed over time that the number of maintenance technician open positions has increased significantly. That's pretty similar, but it's more mechanically based. But you can always get one of those jobs. Those jobs are going to be easier to start at, and then you can gain experience doing industrial maintenance and then just transition over to controls and automation using that experience plus the schooling. That's another route you can take to get into the career. All right, what is the job like and is it fun? This is going to be the last section of the video. If you're watching up to this point, I really, really appreciate it. Also, I have a small favor. We started an Amazon Associates page so we can get a little bit of money for referrals. If you click on the link in the comments and then just put some stuff in your cart, when you buy it, I'll get a little bit of money and it will make sure that they don't freeze my Amazon account due to inactivity, and it won't raise your prices at all if you do that for me. What is it like and is it fun? I personally think it's a very fun job. You get to learn new technologies, you get to fix things. You have a lot of responsibility, but at the same time, that comes with a lot of respect. You're going out and you're troubleshooting automated systems, you're learning about new technologies. It's pretty cool because, if something comes in that no one in the factory really knows how to fix or really knows how it works, they'll assign it to you to do some research and figure out how to fix it or how to improve the process. So overall for me, I think it's a great job. Another thing I like about it is every day is generally a little bit different. There's always something new to fix, always something new to learn, always a new type of sensor to calibrate. So overall, personally, I really enjoy it. It's a good way to, make good money, and generally companies won't even have all the positions filled, so there's usually unlimited overtime. At least that's what I've seen. So if money's tight or you're trying to make a big purchase, you can usually work a little bit of extra hours to make a little bit of extra money. And really, it's just an enjoyable job. You get to go out and fix stuff, and it's always something different. It's challenging, it's physical, it can be a little bit dirty, but in my opinion, it's one of the coolest jobs there is. And in my opinion, it's the best 2-year associate's level degree you can get and career you can get into. Hey, I really want to thank you guys for watching the channel, watching the video. I really like instrumentation and controls, so I made a YouTube channel about it. That's my baby. Like, subscribe, check out my channel. I got some technical information. I got some general information about the career in general. Man, I really appreciate you guys. I love making these videos, and I appreciate all the support. Take care.